Hi, welcome back for the part third, major landforms of the earth. In the previous module, we have discussed about the plateaus. We have already discussed about the mountains also. So in this module, we will be discussing about the plains. So let us see what is there. We will be discussing about plains. Different plains means the types, significance of the plains means the importance, and at last some fun activity for you. Okay, now plains. What generally do you understand by the plains? Most of you must be living in the plain areas. Some of you must be living in the mountainous areas or plateau areas. So what is the difference between, what is the importance of these areas? All this we are going to discuss in this module. So plains are large stretches of flat land. They are generally not more than 200 meters, or you can say 300 meters above mean sea level. Some plains are extremely level, others may be slightly rolling and undulating. Undulating means up and down, uneven topography is there. I will be explaining you in the images. Most of the plains are formed by rivers and their tributaries. Most plains are formed by the action of wind, rivers and their tributaries and ice. So plains have been developed due to various geographical factors, you can say. Some are developed by the action of wind, rivers, and sometimes erosional activities have developed the plains. We will be learning more about the different types of plains and how they have developed. Now look at the image, a beautiful image of the plains. Different plains of throughout the world you will find various plains are there in Asia or in North America. In India, if you talk about the Ganga and Brahmaputra plain, and in China, if you talk about the Yangtze in China. So various plain areas throughout the world are there, and which supports good cultivation, because all these plain areas are very fertile, and we'll be discussing how they are fertile. And thick population also is found in these areas due to the fertility and due to the even surface. Plain areas, you can say, has dense network of road and railway networks also. So this is a picture to show you the uneven topography which we discuss. As I discuss here, undulating. So undulating is the uneven topography. Somewhere you have the shallow areas, somewhere high areas are there. So elevation is not more, it is only about 200 to 300 meters in some areas. So this is a good example, this image is a good example of the plains of the world. Here you can see a good picture of the plains. This is a picture from the northern plains of India. You can see the river, it supports good fertile land, has been developed due to the flooding of these river, and these plain areas, they are very fertile and good for agriculture because of the fertility, but because of the alluvial soils present in these areas, and availability of water is the major factor in the plain areas. And due to the plain surface, good network of road and railways you will find in these areas, and it supports thick populations also because of the all available facilities in the plain areas. So let us now discuss how these plains have been formed. Look at the picture, formation of the northern plains. See the mountainous areas. You have now keep watching this picture carefully. I'll be explaining you. So from these mountainous areas, due to the erosion, you know that rivers, many rivers, they originate from the mountainous areas and they bring soil, sand, silt and other fertile material is brought and it is deposited in the plain areas where the river loses its force, and it is all deposited in that area. This is a good example of alluvial fan when the deposition takes place in a particular area. So slowly, after millions of years, this area develops into a plain area. So that is why the plains are fertile. So the rivers carry on three types of processes. I will show you the picture also. The important one is your erosion, and the river flows from the high mountains. Lot of erosional activities takes place. It's cut down the surface, rocks, sand, and it is brought down to the lower areas along with the river. And after that it is carried, transportation, by the river and deposited in different places in the low-lying areas. And at last, the important process is the depositional activity which takes place, which results in the formation of various landforms, and plain is one of the good examples of it. Look at this picture. This shows the Himalayas. I have made it easy to understand the three processes, three activity you can say: erosion, transportation and deposition, which takes place in these areas. From the higher Himalayas, when the river flows, it takes away all the sand and silt and deposit in the foothill areas. So that is your Bhabar area. And these areas are fertile, availability of water is also there, and although the water seeps down towards the down layers, lower layers you can say, and it comes up at this area which is a Tarai area, and availability of more moisture and water is there in these areas. Good fertile land for cultivation is available, so it is, that's why it is known as the Tarai area, because full of water, rich in water. Water is available near to the surface in these areas, you can say. So this is a Tarai area. And after that, when the deposition takes place all along the rivers, this is a river, so the new deposition every year during the floods which takes place, that is your khada. This is the new deposition. And the deposition which takes place far from the river, the old deposition you can see, that is your bhanga. So khada soil is more fertile, contains sand, silt, fine particles you can say, whereas the bhanga, which is deposited far, contains bigger rocks and pebbles are also present in these areas, and they are less fertile. The bhanga soils are less fertile as compared to the khada soil. So this is how the different processes are taking place due to the erosion, transportation and deposition of the river, and due to this activity all these areas have their own significance and the importance. So right after Himalayas you have a Bhabar area, which are very fertile areas. After that area, after Bhabar, it starts your Tarai area. Tarai means where the availability of water is available near to the surface, water table is very high, so that is your Tarai area. And along the rivers, when the nearness to the river, every year the dew floods takes place, so that deposition which is near to the river is known as your khada, and the deposition far from the river every year, that is your bhanga. So khada is more fertile than the bhanga. So this is some of the characteristics of your Khadar and Bhangar soil, and this is how the Bhabar and Tarai soils are developed. Land surface, the plain areas of Bhabar, Tarai, both are very fertile, and all result from the activity of the rivers which takes place during the long course of time. So let us see again a good picture from the different areas of the world. The plain areas, you can see in Africa, huge grasslands are there, and you can see in this image also flowers and other grasses, they grow over there, supports wild animals, different types of wild animals, because these are very large grasslands, and man, due to his activities, have started cultivating these areas also, the plain areas. Okay, now generally plains are very fertile, you can see. Now you understand why we have discussed already why the plains are fertile. So construction of transport network is easy in these areas, because these plains are very thickly populated regions of the world. So they are thickly populated regions of the world. Some of the largest plains made by the rivers are found in Asia and North America. For example, in Asia, these plains are found by the Ganga and the Brahmaputra in India, Yangtze in China. So different plains have been developed in different areas, regions of the world, you can say. So important thing is the plains are very fertile. We have discussed why they are fertile, and because you know that all the material, the silt, the fertility, sand, soil, fine particles, all minerals, you can say, are deposited during this long course of the river, the processes of erosion, transport, and deposition. All these, due to these, the fertile soils like Bhabar and Tarai have been developed. So that is why these plains areas generally are very fertile. And as they are plain, these areas are huge, long areas, plain areas. So they support thick, thick population also, and density of population also, and transport network, easy transport networks are the road, and you can say railway networks are developed in these areas. Some of the largest plains made by the rivers are found in Asia and North America. So we'll be seeing many other examples of this. Now let us see these good image. You can see why the plains are very fertile. Generally plains are very fertile. Why it's fertile? We have already discussed that. So a lot of agricultural activities, practices takes place throughout the year in the plain areas. And in fact, in India, if you take the example, plain areas, a lot of cultivation, crop productions takes place, which support the whole country. And these plain areas, as these are plain areas, so more suitable for road and a railway network also. So plains are more suitable. So easily you can develop the railway networks or road, whereas it is not possible to develop railway networks easily on the mountainous areas. So you will find less rail or road networks on mountainous areas as compared to the plain areas. So plain areas have more road and railway networks. So it supports more road and railway network, and best suitable for development of road and railway network. Yes, now here look careful in this image. If you take the example of our country, 3 states of northern plains which have high population density are Uttar Pradesh, Bihar and West Bengal. So flat plains, fertile soil and adequate rainfall have supported agricultural activities, and hence population density in the state is high. So due to the plain areas, you know, large number of people, they live in plain areas. In fact, if you take the case of Uttarakhand, why large number of people, they migrate toward the plain areas. So push and pull factors are there. Peoples, they migrate to plain areas in search of better facilities of medical, agricultural activities, employment opportunities are there, better education facilities are there. So convenience and easy life, you can say, transport facilities are available, markets are there, reachable at a very near distance. So all these factors have uh, encouraged thick population in the plain areas. So they attract large number of people toward plain areas. And as compared to the plain areas, mountain areas have sparse population. People's very far away places, they live in the mountains because life is very tough. Facilities are not available. You don't have dense network of road, or you don't have railway networks in the mountain areas. Employment opportunities, better medical facilities, all these are some of the push factor by which the peoples, they migrate from mountainous areas to the plain areas. So that is why northern plains have thick and dense population because of the fertile soil, adequate rainfall has supported agricultural activities and population density, and along with this good network of road and railways and other facilities also, as I have discussed, are very important factors of thick population in these areas. So here is a good map showing the areas of Indo-Gangetic plains, the Indus River plain, the Ganga plains, and even the small area of Brahmaputra plain also. So all these are very, very important part of our country. These northern plains, the Gangetic plains, a lot of agricultural activities, and it supports, as we have already discussed, dense population is there. Why dense population? Now you know is found in these areas because of the, you can say, fertile land is there, which is good for the different agricultural activities. Good road and railway networks are there, and other day-to-day facilities which are available in these areas are some of the factors which support dense network of you can say railway lines, roadways and railways, and even population. So all these areas of this is the maximum part of the Indus is in Pakistan, you can say, but we have the Indian part, the Indo-Gangetic plain, and some part of the Brahmaputra plains also. So these areas are very, very fertile areas of the world, you can say. Now plains are the most useful areas for human habitation. There is great concentration of people as more flat land is available for building houses as well as for cultivation. Because of fertile soils, the land is highly productive for cultivation. In India too, the Indo-Gangetic plains are the most densely populated regions of the country. So this is the Indo-Gangetic plains. They are densely populated plains of the country, you can say. Now let us discuss. Now you understand what are plain areas, how they have formed, why these areas, the plain areas, support large numbers of people, settlements, railway networks, dense networks, good agriculture. All this you know. Now we will discuss the different types of plains, how they have been developed, how they are formed, and let us see. On the basis of their formation, plains are of three types: tectonic plains, erosional plains, and depositional plains. So one by one we will discuss about these plains. Let us first discuss about the tectonic plains. The area where the rock layers on the earth crust are aligned almost horizontally. Tectonic or structural plains are formed. The Russian platform has been formed in this way. So where a lot of tectonic activities are taking place, in those areas also plains areas are developed. Let us see a good example. Before that, we can see all these are the tectonic plates areas of the world. These are sensitive areas where a lot of earthquake and volcanic activities takes place. Plate tectonics you have learned earlier, and in this you know that plates, they are moving towards each other or apart from each other or one above the other. So these are the areas, sensitive areas, where lot of movement the land interior from the interior of the earth also takes place. So these continents, they move towards or apart from each other, and hence a lot of earthquake and volcanic activities takes place in these areas. So now here is a good example of the how this, due to the tectonic activities, has developed huge landscapes, plain areas. So you can see a fault line over here. The San Andreas Fault is the sliding boundary between the Pacific Plate and the North American Plate. It slices California into two from Cape Mantorquia in the Mexican border, San Diego, Los Angeles, and Picture are other Pacific Plate. So these are actually the areas where the fault line has been developed. It means that two plates, they are moving towards each other, and you can see or apart from each other, the cracks, the gap has been developed, and this is the biggest fault line of the world, you can say, which can be seen from the space also. And due to this movement, this plate tectonic activity, this huge landscape has been developed. I was going through the picture, so I found that this must be one of the reason of development of the plain area. So so I thought of showing you this image. So you can see this is the San Andreas Fault and the huge plain areas which has been developed all along these fault lines. So now this is one more example, the Russian plains. You can see over here are one of the important plain areas, very fertile areas of the world. This is an image from the Russian plains, and all agricultural activities, if you look carefully, you can see the agricultural activities taking place in these areas. So this is a good example of the Russian plains formed by the tectonic activities, you can see. So the area where the rock layers on the crust are aligned almost horizontally, tectonic with structural planes are formed. So show you this is a good example of this. Now we'll discuss about the erosional plains. So due to the action of the agents of gradation, highlands gradually wear down, resulting in the formation of the erosional plains. The West Siberian plain is an example of this type of plains. So due to the action of agents of gradations are, in the previous module also we discussed, like rain, temperature, high speed winds, and other activities of like floods and glaciers. These are all agents of gradation, and they wear down and resulting in the formation of the erosional plains. So if you have a look of one good image I have for you to show of the, yes, this is how the agents of gradation has resulted in the formation of the erosional plains. So some areas of the earth's surface which originally were rugged are leveled due to the frictions of plantations. This is possible due to the action of several agents. The plains that are formed, these are called erosional plains. So due to the rugged level, due to the earth's surface which originally were rugged, are leveled due to the friction of these agents like air, high speed winds, rain, temperature, climatic condition, all these are agents of gradation which have leveled down this high elevated structure into plain areas, and this is how the erosional plains have been developed. So this is how erosional plains have been developed. This is a good example, the West Siberian plains, of these erosional plains, how they have been developed, and this is a good example, the West Siberian plain of the erosional plains, and it has been leveled down due to the agents of gradations, and it is a long process which have taken millions of years for the development of these plain areas. Now let us discuss about the depositional plains. As a result of the deposition of sand, silt and clay in low-lying areas by the agents of gradation, depositional plains are formed. The northern plains of India, the Mississippi, Missouri basin of North America, and the Yangtze basin of China fall in this category. So depositional, as it is clear, we have already discussed about erosion, transportation, deposition. So all the material where it is deposited, that has also resulted in the formation of plains. Like I'll show you if you go in the beginning of the module, how these plain areas have been formed. Yes, look at the image carefully. Again, due to erosion, transportation, and this is the depositional work of the river. All material, sand, silt, minerals have been deposited and has resulted in the formation of plain areas. So this is how depositional plains are developed or formed. So now let us discuss about the depositional plains. So some examples are from the northern plains of India, the Mississippi, Missouri basins of North America, Yangtze basin of China. So now you understand how these plains have been. You can have a look of this picture also, formation of depositional plains. So due to weathering, erosion, and finally the depositional activities takes place all along the course of the river. Due to weathering and erosion brings all the sand, silt and material, and finally they deposit it in plain areas or near the sea, the delta areas, the Sundarban delta, and near the coastal areas also, or in the after the foothill areas also. These types of depositional features are formed. So this is how the depositional plains are formed. Look at the picture carefully. This is a good image, example of the depositional plains, how they have been formed. The mountainous areas, you can have a look, and all the rivers, they bring the sand, silt, material, rocks, pebbles, which has been deposited in the plain areas where the river loses its force or speed, you can say. So this, due to this continuous deposition, plains areas are formed. So this is how depositional plains are developed. Now this is a example of the northern plains of India. You can see this is the northern plains, and the color, you can say all these are the, this Ganges, the river, the Brahmaputra river, this is the Indus river, and all these are the mountainous areas. So you can see the origin of these rivers from this image, from where they originate, and all the tributaries and distributaries also. So all these rivers, the tributaries and other streams, they due to the erosional activity, transportational activity, and they deposit all the materials in the plain areas. So here they have deposited all this, and this is how the northern plains have been developed. So this are the greater Himalayas, this is the plain areas. So it is the result of the activities, the processes which are taking place for millions of years. It has not developed in 100 years or 200 years. Millions of years have taken place for the development of these plain areas, the depositional plain areas. This is your Sundarban delta, a good example of again the depositional plains. So this is how the rivers, they bring all the materials through erosion, transportation and deposition. They deposit it in the plain areas where the river loses force or speed, and this is how the plains, the northern plains of India has developed. So I hope now it is clear to you how the depositional plains have been formed. Here is a good example of the coastal plains also. Near the coastlines also the plains are developed. It supports huge grasslands and large number of species, wild species of birds and animals also. They survive in these plain areas because of the food they available for them in these areas. Now let us discuss some important significance of the plains, why it is important for us. The plains are the most useful landforms for humans. They are useful in the following ways. Most plains are fertile. They provide ideal condition for agriculture. Plains are generally found near rivers, hence water is easily available. This is advantageous for humans settlement. So as we have discussed already, it supports thick population due to the availability of water, fertile land, and road and railway network available in these areas. Construction of buildings and industries on the plains is easier as compared to the mountainous areas, plateaus area. Construction of buildings in plains are quite easier. So that is also one of the reasons of large populations. Trades flourish in plains because of roads can be built and boats can easily along the gentle flowing rivers. So flowing rivers, the long stretch of flowing rivers is also important factor due to the transportation of boats and ships in these rivers. So that is why plains are the most thickly populated areas of the world. So we can say that plains are the most thickly populated areas of the world. Now here is a small discussion between the two students, Ranveer and Pratik. Ranveer says to Pratik, brother, what are alluvial plains? So Ranveer is asking a question to Pratik, that what are alluvial plains? What you understand by alluvial plains? So Pratik reply, Ranveer, alluvial is a soil comprising sand, silt and clay. It is a very fertile soil in the middle course. The rivers overflow their banks and deposit alluvium on the banks. Such plains are called alluvium plains. The Indo-Gangetic plains of India and the Nile plains of Egypt are examples of alluvial plains. So this is an example of alluvial plains. The Indo-Gangetic plains, you can further divide it into Punjab, Haryana plain, Upper Ganga, Middle plain, Ganga, Gangetic plain and Brahmaputra plains. So all these have been developed by the rivers, which brings all the material and deposit it on the banks. So the river overflow their banks and deposit alluvium on the banks. So this is how the alluvium plains are developed. So along with this interesting features are also there which are developed near the rivers, while the whole course of rivers, when it takes place from the first stage to the last stage, these are the, you can have a look of the image carefully. So this is the river, the blue color river, and the island type of topography, middle areas of the two river sections. This is a Dua, which is very fertile area between the two mountainous areas, and these valley areas are very fertile, you can say. And the soil which is developed, the green color one near the river, every year through the floods, we have already discussed the starting of this module that this is your Khadar, and the far one which is developed is your Bhangar soil. So Khadar and Bhangar soils, this is how it is developed. So now you have understood about the different types of plain areas, you can say how they have been developed and how they are important for us. So this earth is home to us today. It shall be home to our future generations tomorrow, just like it was home to our ancestors yesterday. It is our duty to be careful while utilizing the resources of the earth so that we may leave a better legacy to the future generation. So this is very, very important. We'll read it again. This earth is home to us today. It shall be home to our future generation tomorrow, just like it was home to our ancestors yesterday. It is our duty to be careful while utilizing the resources of the earth so that we may leave a better legacy to the future generation. So this is how these areas, not only the plain areas, the mountain areas, the plateau areas, they are very, very important. It is our responsibility that we work along with the nature and we respect the nature, and this is how the life goes. So at last you have things to do, find out why do several people settle in the plain areas. So I hope you must have understood. Thanks. We'll meet in the next module.